All right, hey there, gang. If you don't know who I am, my name is Gene Kelly. I am one half of PT to Your Door, along with David. We are mobile personal trainers here in Newcastle. And if you're watching this video, you are part of this Facebook group. So what I'm here to do today is answer some of your questions that I get from the members of the group. And most recently, we had Felicity join the group. So welcome, Felicity. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for your question, because it's a really, really great question that I'm going to answer today that I think a lot of members are going to benefit from hearing the answer to. And the question was, what can I do to be consistent and make time, I'm assuming, for exercise, or make time for your health? And I've got a really, really great answer for you, in my opinion, that I think you're going to really benefit from hearing about. So the first place I'd like to start is with a bit of a story. I had this client who was interested in working with me, and we got on the phone, we had a conversation. And one of the first things this potential client at the time said to me was, I don't have time for exercise. And that's why she was coming to me. And this is something that I hear a lot. I've heard it a lot over 10 years being a personal trainer. And I didn't say anything at the time. That was her big reason as to why she needed the help from someone like me and David. So I left it at that, and it just so happened that she joined the program at the very week that I was teaching the clients about beliefs. Now, the interesting thing about beliefs is that you have a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. And the reticular activating system's job is to basically filter the things you see, looking for things that confirm your beliefs about the world. Okay, because if the world is as you believe it to be, you know where you are. If you see something all of a sudden that is contradictory to your beliefs, it can really stress you out. You go, whoa, where am I? So this reticular activating system is looking for things that confirm the things that you believe. And this client, like I said, believed that she didn't have time. And the first question we've got to ask is that just a limiting belief? Because if you believe that, you are going to find things in your life to confirm your lack of time. You might always feel rushed. You might always feel like you're moving from one thing to the other. You've got to drop the kids off. You've got to get to work. And we do live very, very busy lives. But I guess what I'm trying to tell you here, and what I explained to this client, is that there's a very good chance you could be operating on an assumption. And a good way to test if your lack of time is just a belief or an assumption is whether or not you've done a time audit. Because unless you've actually taken notes and logged what you've done every minute of every day, well, unless you've done that, you're just assuming that you don't have time, okay? You haven't critiqued your actual day to see if you do have time. So that'll be the first thing we need to do, is make sure that you're not committed to this belief that you don't have time, because unless you're willing to open that belief, you won't all of a sudden find the time. But if you can shift just 1 degree to say, maybe I do have time, or maybe I could find the time, well, now we've got a little bit of wiggle room to actually look at your day and see, okay, well, where are you spending those minutes? And this particular client did exactly that. And after 2 weeks on the program, I got a call from her, and she said, hey, I did this time audit. I took stock of where I was spending my time, and I realized I was spending 20 minutes at a time every day, a couple times per day, scrolling through Facebook. She had her son's soccer team, Facebook group, etc. So she needed to stay up to date with what's going on with the soccer, but then she get dragged into a bit of a scroll to see what's going on. And before you know it, she's eaten up 20 minutes. And that client, it was one of the proudest things I've ever been a part of, because just 2 weeks working with this client, she had opened that belief, realized that she did have time, and now she's only missed a workout a handful of times in the few months I've been working with her since then. She does a little bit of yoga every single day ever since that conversation. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that you're not just holding a limiting belief, and instead of thinking, I don't have time, think, maybe I do have time, and then you can do a time audit and see where you actually are spending your time. The next thing you want to do, though, is understand that you can't really manage your time, but you can manage your energy. And what I mean by that is that we all have 24 hours in a day. So there's not much we can do about that. But a lot of people come to me and they are tired and stressed and lethargic, and they've got some excess weight and they don't feel good at all. And they think, right, I'm going to start exercising. That will make me feel better. And that's true. Exercise is really, really great for you. But you've got to understand that if you don't have energy now to keep up with your day-to-day happenings, where are you going to find the energy to then add exercise into that mix? Okay, what we need to do is make sure we're finding the nooks and crannies of our day where we can rest and recover, reduce some of that stress that we're feeling, and then we can save energy and then have more energy to exercise. Let me give you an example. Fundamentally, what results in poor health is simply an imbalance, okay? So on one side, we've got yang, which would be stress and stimulation and interacting with the external world, dropping the kids off, work, your relationship, things like that. And on the other side, we have relax and restoration. Now, it's really important that you balance these two elements because these two elements are actually reflected in your physiology. Over here, we've got the sympathetic branch of the nervous system, or the stress branch of the nervous system. And over this side, we have the parasympathetic branch of the nervous system, the rest and recovery part of the nervous system. So Felicity, this might be for you, but for a lot of women out there, and fathers too, men as well, maybe you're not getting your exercise in, but are you resting? I'm willing to bet that the majority of you out there is saying, well, I'm not getting to the gym, but I'm definitely not resting. I'm running ragged all day. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. The modern person these days will wake up after a crappy night's sleep, not getting enough hours, not feeling very deep. So you've done no rest and relaxation or restoration. You go straight into yang. And then often people wake up and they'll rush around, getting the kids ready, getting themselves ready for work because they've hit snooze when the alarm goes off because they haven't slept well. So they're straight out of bed into all this stimulation, all this rushing around, all this stress. And then you've got to drop the kids off in bad traffic, more yang. And then you've got to get to work, and then you eat food along the way and you just scoff it down because you're so rushed. And then you've got to pick the kids up, and then maybe you'll get a workout, but a workout is more yang, it's more stress. It's a stress on the body to work out. So even that's really challenging. And then eventually you come home and you have a bad night's sleep, so you barely even get to yin, to rest and relax before you do it all again. So what I'm saying is when you live your life like that every single day, you put your body into a stress response, and that stops your organs and your nervous system from resting and recovering. And that's why we feel so drained and we look so tired all the time. But if you can find balance in your day, and you know the little things to do that can actually give you more energy, well, you can all of a sudden find yourself with more energy and vitality. Then you can be more productive and get those little jobs done. And now you've actually gained energy and saved time to now do a workout. So an example of that would be to, one, try meditating before bed. So we're actually going to start at the end of the day, go into yin, meditate and relax before bed so you can get a good night's sleep and wake up feeling rested. And then when you wake up, drink some water, have some breakfast. Maybe you could do a light, gentle walk before you go to work. In any case, just avoid rushing and start your day by gaining energy. And then what you can do is move into the day. So maybe you drop the kids off at school, you make your way to work, you do the housework, yang, start engaging in the day. But then at about lunchtime, take the time to sit down and have some lunch. Stop eating lunch on the run. And then what you can do is engage back in the day, maybe go back to work or pick the kids up, take them to sport after school or whatever it might be, but return to engaging in the day. But then when you get home, take the time to sit and chill, put on some relaxing music. And you can see by purposely finding things and moments in your morning, in your lunchtime, in your afternoon to gain energy, like eating good food, like not eating on the run, like a bit of meditation or mindfulness. By doing that, you can steer things to be a little less sympathetic, and they can be more balanced between parasympathetic and sympathetic. So that again refers to the nervous system. When you go parasympathetic, your nervous system starts to rejuvenate itself and repair itself from the day that you just had. So this is a really great way to, again, boost energy. And then with that extra energy, you can be more productive, get your jobs done quicker, and then make time to then exercise. Okay. In a lot of cases, trying to squeeze in the gym amongst all the chaos, it's just unsustainable and it just adds to more stress. In fact, that's a good rule of thumb. If your approach to health is creating more stress as opposed to alleviating stress, then it's not a sustainable approach. And in our program, what we do is help people reduce their stress. One of the ways we do that is coming to your home so you don't have to worry about getting the kids organized or getting them to the crèche or anything like that. And then finally, the last piece of advice I have for you on this matter is to take imperfect action. The reality is that sometimes we get this idea in our head of how it's supposed to be. Like, all right, I want to get fit, so I need to get to a gym class, do an aerobics class, have the kids in the crèche, and you've got to have it just so. And the reality is sometimes we can't have things just so. We kind of need to compromise. So don't worry about getting things perfect. Worry about getting things done. Progress is better than perfection. So if it means that you just go for a 10-minute walk every single day and you can actually do that consistently and that actually fits into your life, then just do that. That's a victory. If you weren't doing that before, then that's a huge change. And you've got to remember, if you can't sustain the strategy, you will not sustain the result. So if getting to the gym and doing that class is really stressful and you're not going to be able to keep it up, if it doesn't flow for your life, then you probably need to take a different approach that does flow, that is sustainable. Remember, health is a long-term game. You need to use strategies and do things that you can sustain and actually enjoy. And yeah, don't worry about being perfect. A simple walk, a couple of big deep breaths, a 5-minute meditation practice, those things can go a really, really long way for your health. Again, remember, health is not limited to the domains of just exercise and nutrition. There are a lot of other things that happen in our lives that dictate whether we're going to be healthy or not. Anyway, Felicity and everyone else, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that made sense. I would love your feedback. And if you have any more questions, please just let me know. Don't forget that an option is to work with one of our mobile personal trainers where we come to you, give you a world-class personal training session from the comfort of your own home. And at the moment, we have the Healthy Hunter campaign where we are giving away free personal training sessions. So if you'd like to try a session out for free, no catch, just to see if you like it and get the hunter moving again, well, we'd love you to take part in that and meet us and enjoy that free session. So get in touch if that's you. Hope you found that useful, and I'll see you next time. I am Gene from PT Tutor.